Ooh, feisty little thing. Hello everyone, me again. I'm going to do another top 10 because I still don't have time to do anything else. I really shouldn't even be doing these, honestly, but here I am. This is going to be my 10 favourite movies with 5 honourable mentions. It's going to be completely unscripted. Let's get down to biznatch. Honourable Ruddy mentions. Dial M for Murder. The Blair Witch Project.
Oh my god, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
Kung Pao, Enter the Fist.
You will all refer to me by the name Betty.
Quadrophenia. V for Vendetta.
Verily, this vichyssoise of verbiage veers most verbose, so let me simply add that it's my very good honor to meet you, and you may call me V.
Number 10. Pinocchio. I think, was this my first Disney movie? I don't think it was, but it was certainly the one I had the most affinity with as a child. If you haven't seen it, it's about a little wooden boy brought to life by a blue fairy, because an old lonely man wants a kid, but he's not a real boy. In order to become a real boy, he has to prove that he's not a little shit, and that's pretty much your plot. It's like a bad acid trip, honestly. This not the most sing-song of all the Disney movies. It does have a couple of little songs. The story is very, very impacting, especially if you're a kid and, you know, all you do is look up to your parents as when you're a very young kid. So it sort of touches upon that very well. The story's quite frightening, actually, when they all get kidnapped and turned into donkeys. Spoiler alert, but then who hasn't seen Pinocchio? Come on. When that happens, and then there's the guy with the black shadow dudes, oh, it's creepy. Definitely best Disney movie, and they even proved it in Empire magazine.
I'll never lie again. Honest, I won't.
Number 9. You Only Live Twice. I am by no means saying that this is the best Bond movie. In fact, I would go as far to say that it isn't even close. But my personal history with it is that when I was a kid watching all the James Bonds back to back as they showed on television, you kept seeing this mysterious figure, number 1, who was the head of the Spectre organization, but you never saw his face. You only saw his hand and his pussy. So I was really looking forward to seeing him, and then it finally happened, and it didn't disappoint. It's set in Japan. As I say, it's definitely not the best Bond movie, but it's funny for one reason, because Bond actually wears yellow face in it. Totally not racist at all. But the dubbing in it's very good, surprisingly. You genuinely believe these Japanese actors and actresses are actually speaking English. It's action-packed, it's got the volcano base, it's got so many James Bond tropes that you can't miss it. It's not the best, definitely by any stretch, but it's my personal favourite, right alongside GoldenEye.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Ernst Stavro Blofeld.
Number 8. What the hell? Creepshow. It's a classic horror movie directed by Stephen King and George A. Romero, who did all of the Dead movies. And it's based on the horror comics by EC from the 50s. So it's actually a movie that comprises 5 different mini-movies, including, I can't remember the names of them, but one of them involves zombies that come from the sea, one of them involves a crate with a crazy monster inside it, one of them involves a sadistic father who gets murdered by his daughter. And it just all comes together so well. The comic references are blatant and quite amusing. There's a lot of humour in it. It's not really a very scary movie at all, especially when you're hearing Stephen King say lines like, "Meteor shit!" You know, how can you possibly take it seriously? But that's why it's so great. It's just so much fun. The sequels are pretty shit. The second one's okay. Third one is awful. But you must see the original Creepshow now.
Meteor ship!
Number 7. The Truman Show. I remember first seeing this movie back on TV completely by accident back in the day, and it stars Jim Carrey in quite a rare non-comedic role. And it's all about a man who's trapped inside a TV show that's all about him and has been since birth. But he's not aware of this, at least not at first anyway. I don't think I've given anything away. I'm being very careful not to. And when this movie came out, it was before the dawn of reality television, like Big Brother, Pop Idol, all that utter garbage. So it's actually quite chilling when you watch it to realise how close it became to what television was like. It's really an emotional movie. You really start rooting for Truman and you really want him to win. Whether he does or not, you'll have to wait and see. But it's very clever, very well executed, incredibly strong movie. And it's so good, actually, that it got a mental disorder named after it. What more could you possibly ask for?
Truman, where are we going?
Well, we know. Guess I'm being spontaneous.
Number 6, yeah? Forrest Gump. Do I really need to say anything, honestly? Who hasn't seen this movie? If you haven't seen this movie, you have not lived, my friend. It's all about a man who is mentally challenged, who sort of stumbles through history, impacting various events. Like, it even has the gall to imply that he helped John Lennon write Imagine. You gotta love a movie with balls like that. It's actually based on a book, if you didn't know. The book is much darker, apparently, from what I'm told. Forrest Gump is a little bit sort of malevolent in a kind of Mr. Bean sort of way. But the movie itself is amazing. It's got one of the best movie soundtracks in history. It's got a choice selection of songs all throughout the decades. It's insanely quotable. I mean, who hasn't heard Johnny? I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is. Dan, ice cream, and so on, you know? It's like an adult Disney movie, and I will never tire of watching it, ever.
Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
Number 5! A Beautiful Mind. If you haven't seen this, it actually won the Oscar the year that it came out, which I believe was 1998. Don't quote me on that, I'm probably wrong. And when Russell Crowe's not busy fighting around the world, he's actually making fantastic movies. I'd say he's one of my favourite actors, Russell Crowe, completely unironically. I think he's brilliant, I don't care what anyone says. This is a movie about John Nash, who's a real-life mathematician, who had a little bit of a mental disorder, and it made him struggle a little bit through life. To say any more would be to give anything away, but obviously it's based on a true story with a little bit of exaggeration and hamming it up a little bit. But it's still good, it's still reasonably faithful. It's incredibly emotional. It goes on for about 2.5 hours, but honestly I could make it go on forever. And that speech that the mathematician gives at the end, my god, it's just stunning. It's just amazing. So if you've not seen A Beautiful Mind, you do not know what you're missing.
You are all my reasons.
Number 4. Ulen den rätta komma in, or let the right one in. I'm so sorry, I never claimed to speak Swedish. This is, as I've just kind of given away, this is a Swedish horror movie that came out in 2012 and was remade as Let Me In, which you may have seen, but the original far surpasses it so much. It's set in 80s Sweden, in the snowscapes of Sweden, and it's all about a little rejected boy, not rejected, what's the word? Like a little nerd sort of boy, you know, he doesn't really fit in, an outcast, there's the word. Who meets another outcast named Eli, but plot twist, she's a vampire. It sounds really cliche and quite terrible, but it's really dark and it's quite surreal, and it really gets into your head like a lot of great Swedish movies do, and it's very strange to try and describe it without you just seeing it, but I will say the horror in this horror is very minimal. It's all about the emotions. It's a powerful movie and I highly recommend it. Number 3? The Artist. It won the Oscar. I'm not a hipster based on what I'm about to say, so don't even, girlfriend. Okay, so this is a 2011 silent movie. Yeah, I've probably lost you already, haven't I? It's a sort of I guess thematically and story-wise, it's a remake of a movie called A Star Is Born. And what happens in it is it stars George Valentine, as in the character, and he was a silent movie star. But as his star is falling due to the introduction of talkies because he simply can't make the transition, a young star named Pepe Miller is actually rising to the top, and they do actually know each other, and it creates some very interesting dynamic between them. They've got a lot of chemistry, it's very good. There is some sound in the movie, but I don't want to give it away. It always makes me feel so happy when I finish watching it. It just cheers me up every single time. I love this movie so much, I named my bloody dog after it. So there you go. Number 2! Dawn of the Dead, the original, that is. This was one of the first proper zombie movies that I ever saw at the ripe old age of, I think I was like 10 years old or something like that. I ordered it online and I finally got to see it, and I was not disappointed, and I'm pleased to say that no zombie movie, or any horror movie for that matter, has ever surpassed it since I've seen it. It's about 2.5 hours long, which is the version you want. You want the director's cut, because the cut that's only like an hour and a half long cuts out so much that it just ruins it. It's got underlying social commentary, it's got interesting and relatable characters. The even the bloody zombies are relatable, for God's sake. And just seeing them in the mall, just seeing them try to survive and how they get along or don't get along with each other, and the music by Goblin, the Italian sort of 70s band in the background, it just all comes together perfectly to create the ultimate horror experience. And it's not even that scary. Get it watched.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk here.
Number 1, The Elephant Man. Anyone, again, as with the last list, anyone who knows me personally will not be surprised by this in the least. This is a black and white movie that came out in 1980. Was that the exact year? It definitely came out in the 80s, I know that for sure. It stars Anthony Hopkins, John Hurt, some other guy who's pretty famous, some other people, like Anne Bancroft, she's pretty famous, I think. And it's based on a true story of Joseph Merrick, the Elephant Man. That's one thing the movie gets wrong. His name wasn't John Merrick, it was Joseph Merrick. And it's all about how he goes from a freak show in a circus to being cared for at the London hospital. And it's all set in Victorian times, which is all this went down. And it was directed by one of my favourite directors, David Lynch, who also directed the absolute nightmare that is Eraserhead, another recommendation incidentally. And it's just a powerful tale of human compassion, and I'm actually getting kind of dry throat just thinking about it. Every time I watch it, I'm just left completely spellbound and very close to tears. Although I'm pretty sure the first time I saw it, I did cry. And what I like about this is that it's actually Carl Pilkington's favourite movie as well, so we've got something in common. Fantastic. If you've not seen The Elephant Man, it's only 2 hours long. It doesn't go on that long. It will break your heart, it will make you smile, it will make you dance, you will cry, you will laugh, you will go through the entire spectrum of human emotions, and you will come out a better person, I think. Thank you very much for watching my list once again, ladies and gents. And I guess I will see you for the next list. Feel free as ever to post a comment, let me know what your favourite movies are, or if you agree with any of my picks. I do read and respond to every comment, so please make my day, punk. Take care, guys. Bye for now.